folks, has already begun. What are you doing in the kingdom? You say, how do we get there? This I close with. Here it is. Ready? 2 things. Stop trying. Stop trying to earn the favor of God. Stop trying to perform well for God. Okay? And start trusting that God has already poured out His favor on you. Hallelujah. That's a difference, isn't it? Instead of waking up every morning and going, God, how can I do better for you? You say, God, thank you. Man, I am your child. I'm already going. I'm righteous. And you live out of, not try to live up to. You live out of that understanding. And then when you live out of that understanding, when you trust that that is already true of you, that God already loves you, that God is already saved, that God is already redeeming you, as you're His child, you're righteous, you're holy, in position with Him, then you can start to adopt a lifestyle of what I call training for the good works that He's called you to do. This is where we get stuck. This is where OSL comes in. This is where going to life groups and Bible studies comes in. This is where going to church comes in. We're not here to just sit and get a good message, man. You're here to go out, to get equipped, to get mended, to get encouraged, so you can go out and do the good things God has called you to do. And every week, I shouldn't be the only one telling the stories every week. You should be telling each other the stories of the good things God is doing in your life, because you've been living as kingdom people in the world by the power of the grace of God. You've stopped trying to earn God's favor. You've trusted that He loves you, and now you're training for that life. Now watch this. For you guys in the room, this also means that you need to stop retreating. Say, retreating. That's funny how we say, hey, we're going to have a retreat. No, we're not, especially with guys. No more men's retreats. We need a men's advance, man. Stop retreating, man. Start risking again for God. You know, the theological word for risk? It's faith. God risked His life. And so any response towards Him of faith is going to require risk. God took a risk in initiating to save us and rescue us. So every response to Him is going to require risk. And you know what you risk? You risk your pride, you risk your comfort, you risk your plans, you risk your dreams, you risk your self-centered existence. To God, that's not a risk. That's life. To us, it can feel like death for a while. But when you do, when you put your faith fully into Jesus, you begin to taste the heroic life for which you were hoping. That's what this is about. Last night we were in the movie theater. We were watching the movie. I was on a date with my wife. Isn't she beautiful? She's right here. I told her this morning she looked like a model. And she said, "You mean you like me wearing high heels?" I go, "Yeah." I don't know what you're talking about. We're in the movie theater, and there's this part of the movie where Superman goes in to see a priest. He's faced with a dilemma. General Zod, who's like this evil warrior from his home planet, has come to basically destroy the Earth. And he requires Superman to surrender himself. But Superman, he doesn't really trust this enemy. And Superman doesn't really trust the people of Earth yet, because he's afraid, they don't really know me, they just might betray me, whatever. So he goes to this little church, and the priest is sitting there and listening to Superman talk about his dilemma. And he says to the priest, "I don't know what to do." And then he starts to walk out the door, and the priest stands up and says to him, "Hey, Clark, sometimes you need to take a leap of faith before you know exactly what to do. When you take that leap, the clarity comes." I didn't say that verbatim, but that's kind of like the idea of what he said. So today, as we close, I want to talk to dads and fathers in the room. Sometimes that leap of faith for you looks like spending more time with your family than you want. Sometimes that leap of faith looks like becoming a better student of your spouse. Sometimes that leap of faith means coming to terms with the regrets that you have of your past, and stop living in the past and say sorry for what's happened, and reconcile with the people you need to reconcile with. Sometimes that step of faith means finally dealing fully, honestly, with that unhealthy addiction that you've been struggling with. Sometimes the step of faith means coming clean. I was just talking to a friend He's actually my step brother-in-law, kind of. Yeah. I greeted him happy Father's Day today, and he's lived a life of addiction. Just got done serving at the Dream Center, and then relapsed. And I said to him, Happy Father's Day. Are you clean? You know? He's like, yeah, man. And you know, he said to me, Ken, he goes, I know it's been tough for me lately. He says, but I'm here in a good place, and I see the goodness of God all around me. I said, great, that's awesome, that's wonderful. When you begin to live in the grace of God, guys, you begin to see that all of life is a gift. And you know what? God knows exactly what you're dealing with. You just need to man up and confess what you're doing and get rid of the sin and let brothers help you along that journey. Come clean. That might be the leap of faith you need to take. Because ultimately, when you step into the light of God's heroic work for us, you begin to receive that grace that can free us from our past. That grace will also empower us to live for Him in the present. So today, as we close, I want to give an invitation to all the men, in particular all the fathers in the room. And I want to say it this way. I'd like you to stand in a second as we worship to close for today. I want to say that people around you, especially the younger generation, I think this generation of kids really is a fatherless generation. Not that they didn't grow up with dads present, but they were emotionally absent dads. That makes sense? And I want us to be a church that says, bring your orphans.